there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Sorrento, Italy for the don'ts of visiting Sorrento and the Isle of Capri. And I gotta start off with this. If you're gonna come to Sorrento, don't expect this to be the super Italian cultural experience when you are here, because this is the base for a lot of people to explore the Sorrento Peninsula with the Amalfi Coast and Paestum and Pompeii and Herculaneum and Naples. And so there's tons and tons of tourists here, and therefore the accommodation is based for tourists. The economy is based for tourism. The restaurants are for tourists. I mean, it is very much a tourist-based place. So don't think you're going to have that kind of vecchi body, old town body experience or that Padova experience of Italy when you're here. You're going to have the I'm with a ton of tourists in Italy experience, okay? So I want to get that one out of the way first, okay? Because this is one of those places that don't think you can do the 2 or 3 block walk from the main area to find the local restaurants, okay, where the locals go eat. You are going to see that there is no place that does not have tourists to go eat. So if you find a place that looks good, just eat there. You'll be fine. And yes, I got to tell you, don't think Sorrento is going to be cheap when you're here, because they know there's a lot of tourists that come here. So you do have the tourist pricing, all right? And probably one of the worst parts about that is don't expect your accommodation to be great, because a lot of people use Sorrento as their base to go to the Amalfi Coast or go to Pompeii, and so people are going to come here no matter what. And Amalfi is a heck of a lot more expensive than Sorrento, so they know that, hey, as long as we're cheaper than Amalfi and we give them some place to stay, people are going to come back. So I got to tell you, I've come here 4 times, and I've had 4 of the worst Airbnb experiences and hotel experiences in Italy, because we've had one place that was a taco bed. Like, literally, the beds were so bad, they were like tacos, okay? Another place I went, they were dragging the bed out of the room next door at 3 o'clock in the morning because it broke, because a kid was sleeping on it. I'm like, what the heck? The place we're at now, they're like, oh, yes, it's all self-service. Yeah, we don't have any toilet paper. It's just somebody left half a roll here, so you have that. You got to get everything else. So it's very much like they know the tourists are going to be here, so they kind of, don't overdo it in the accommodation. So I just want you to be prepared for that when you are here. So your really self-catering place really is fully self-catering, like from your first roll of toilet paper to your dishwashing stuff. Now, another thing I think is important to mention is when you do come here, I speak some Italian. I love speaking Italian. I love practicing Italian. But I would say this, don't expect the locals at the restaurants to let you practice your Italian, because for them, there's so many tourists that get through here. I mean, the people are friendly here, don't get me wrong, but they just have so many tourists, they just got to get through all the people, they got to get through all the tourists, and therefore, if you start with, io vorrei una spaghetti vongole, and you're like, okay, so you want the spaghetti with the vongole, okay, I got that, what do you want to drink? Like, they switch to English right away, because it's more efficient. Let's just get the order out of the way, go, because I got another table to get to. So you can see that sometimes they get overwhelmed with the tourists when they're here. That's why don't expect to have any private time if you come here from basically late April through September, because this place is a super popular tourist destination for people all over the world, whether they're American or Russian or Italian, and they come in different groups. The Italians are here in August, the Americans are here in June and July, and you have those things, and just know that if you can avoid those times or go closer to the April or September times, you're going to have better luck with prices and not as crowded when you are here, but it will usually be busy. Like, I've come here in November, February, July, and June, and yeah, there was never like a low point, okay? There was always people here. So try to come in shoulder season just to avoid some of the crowds, but I got to tell you, if you come in the winter time, don't expect everything to be open when you are here. And the ferries might have less ferries in the winter, and as it is a tourist destination, things do close in the winter time. So try to go for the shoulder season, like April, May, September. You're still gonna have a great time when you're here. Now, you might wanna ask yourself, Mark, how the heck do I actually get to Sorrento? Well, I'm gonna tell you this. You're probably gonna fly into Naples, and then you're gonna take a train from Napoli Garibaldi, which is the train station that's underneath Naples Centrale station, okay? So you're gonna take what's called the Circumvesuvia line. And I'm gonna tell you this, don't overpack when you're taking the Circumvesuvia, and don't overpack when you're coming to Sorrento or the Amalfi Coast or anywhere, because you have very little space on the Circumvesuvia, and it gets super, super packed. And that's the train that goes to Herculaneum, Pompeii, Sorrento, Yeah, so just know you're not going to have a lot of space on that train getting here. Also, don't forget to pay attention to your wallet and your bags when you're at Napoli station, okay? When you're going to be at Garibaldi and when you're on the Circumvesuvia, especially the first few stops, because it is quite full. And you will notice it is kind of an easy pickpocketing location when you are there. So do be aware of that, okay? But don't think that you have to take the Circumvesuvia, because there actually are private drivers that will drive you from the Naples airport or the Naples Central Station to get you to Sorrento or Amalfi or wherever. It's not cheap, like you're gonna pay over 100 euros for that ride, but if you got a lot of luggage or you got multiple people, that kind of breaks it down and makes it not as bad in terms of pricing, but it is something you should think about. Because honestly, don't drive to Sorrento, okay? You don't want to drive on the Sorrento Peninsula because there's no parking anywhere you go. If you're going to go drive down the Amalfi Coast, you got all these switchbacks and vomit-inducing roads, and it's kind of scary if you're not used to it. So honestly, don't rent a car when you're here. Get the driver instead. It'll make your life a lot easier, okay? Because honestly, parking totally sucks here. Now, you remember I talked about that gnocchi sorrentina? Yeah, I'm not going to tell you this. Don't skip out on the local foods when you are here. Just like anywhere you go in Italy, there's very much localized cuisine. So you're going to have the gnocchi sorrentina, which is potato gnocchi pasta, right? And then it's got mozzarella, tomato, and basil in it. It is fantastic. You want to have that here. The Isle of Capri is right over there. So you have the caprese salad, you know, with the mozzarella and the basil and tomato. You have that. Or you get fior di latte, which is just the mozzarella just in general is just fantastic when you are here. There's buffalo mozzarella. You have that on your pizza and other places. I mean, you've got so many great foods that are here. Oh yeah, don't forget about all the seafood you want to have when you're here. The spaghetti vongole, right? You know, or any kind of seafood pasta. I mean, the seafood pasta here is so good. My 11-year-old, it was eating it up like crazy. I'm like, wait, you're eating a strange sea fish pasta dish? She's like, yeah, this is really good. No, and ate it up. Because the thing is, whether it's swordfish, whether you get the calamari that's here, they have this thing that's like fried little anchovies and fried little calamari stuff together. Sometimes you get it in a cone in some of the places around here. I mean, there's so many great fish things to have when you're here. I had sea bass the other night, which is really good here. Swordfish is popular. So don't pass up on any kind of the seafood when you are here or to the local dishes. I mean, even you have the caprese torte, the caprese cake, which is a chocolate almond cake. Oh, so good, okay? And of course, you can go lava cake if you want, or you have the panna cotta. You got all the traditional Italian desserts that are here, but go for the local stuff. And honestly, don't pass up anything lemon, okay? Because you have the Delizia del Limone, which is a, how do I explain this? It's like a cake, creamy, lemony delight that you're going to want to have when you're here. Limoncello. Oh yeah, don't pass up a limoncello. So limoncello is this lemon schnapps they make here, because you'll see the lemons and the oranges all around. And you'll have that, and you have that at the end. Nice and ice cold. You drink that. Oh, it's a perfect any meal here in Sorrento, so don't pass that up. But honestly, don't pass any lemon stuff up. Also, don't pass up getting some fresh squeezed orange juice anywhere around the Sorrento Peninsula. Now, when people are traveling, they always ask you, what kind of souvenirs should we get when we're here? Well, I'm going to tell you this. Don't worry about your souvenirs, because there's so many souvenir shops selling ceramics and lemon-themed everything around here. You'll be fine. Whether you have a wine stopper or an olive oil holder or a balsamic vinegar holder or an outfit. I mean, they have so many things here. Like, don't worry. This is a tourist mecca for souvenir shop when you're here. So, for example, if you do a day trip around here and you might go through Amalfi Coast, you'll see plenty of shops that'll sell stuff. Heck, if you go to the Grotta Esmeralda, it's like the Esmeralda Grotto. You can go through a little tour, like a 20-minute tour thing. Kind of nice thing to do there. Like, there's a ceramic place right there, so you can check that out. So, yeah, don't worry about the souvenirs when you're here. There's so much ceramics and lemon-themed things, from limoncello to lemon candies to lemon everything. You'll be fine. Now, one of the best things about coming to Sorrento are all the great day trips. And there is the Isle of Capri, and I'm going to finish off with the don'ts of Isle of Capri, so I'll talk about that one. But you've got Pompeii and Herculaneum, you know, the cities that were covered by Vesuvius' explosion in 79 AD, where you can go and see the buildings. You can see the plaster molds of the people that are there. And if you're going to go, Pompeii is a much longer day trip. Like, you need a lot more time there, a lot more walking, very little shade when you're there, so be prepared when you go there. If you want more of a compact one, you've got Herculaneum, which is literally in the middle of the city. Like, it's just right there. They've dug it out, and you get a much better feel of how the people lived, because you see the frescoes on the wall, you see the mosaics on the floor, you see these things, whereas a lot of stuff from Pompeii has been taken into Naples for the National Archaeological Museum, okay? So that's why Naples can be a good day trip, because Naples can be a lot for people. Like, it can overwhelm people with the amount of chaos that's there, but it's still worth going. Like for a day trip, even if you go to the National Archaeological Museum, you walk around, eat some of the fantastic food when you're there. You know, you got to have the Napoli pizza when you're there. Or if you go to the castle, the fortress is there. Those kind of things, I mean, just taking that in, the cathedral, like you can get a good day trip when you're there and get a good feel for it, and then come back to Sorrento where you're not as overwhelmed with the whole situation. And of course, you have the Amalfi Coast, which is just right down the way. You get to Positano, it's like, you know, a few kilometers away, and Amalfi and Ravello, you have all those things you can go see, and it's just gorgeous. But I will tell you, you can take public transportation there, but don't forget about those drivers, like the driver that can bring you into Sorrento. You can hire a driver to take you to the Amalfi Coast and Pompeii too. But the Amalfi Coast, I like to call it the vomit bus that takes you through the Amalfi Coast from here in Sorrento, because it's so many switchbacks that, yeah, usually when I go, tourists bleh, while they're there. Now, let's get back to some more fun things, okay? If you're looking for a place to eat, a beautiful place to eat, and a beautiful place for all your Instagram photos, don't forget to go down to the Marina Grande. It's back over there, and that's where all the restaurants on the harbor are. Like when you see the pictures of Sorrento, that's there. And there's tons of restaurants there. Remember, don't forget to make reservations if you want the non-touristy ones. But you go there and it's just gorgeous to see and take in. And that's really nice. But I gotta tell you, don't think the Marina Grande is where you get the ferry to the Isle of Capri. That's the Grande Piccola. That's actually right over there. And the thing is whether you're going to the Marina Grande, the Marina Piccola, or you're just walking around town, another thing I gotta say is don't forget to look around. I know I said this is a big tourist destination, but also there's beautiful churches here. You go to the cathedral, there's other churches to see, there's museums to take in. We were here for Easter one year and just went to Easter service at the cathedral, and it was just a gorgeous experience when you're here. So don't pass that up either. Don't just think of this as we're going to here to eat our gnocchi and then go see the Amalfi Coast. No, take in this city as well. And the thing is, to make it easier on yourself, I got to tell you this. Don't worry about tours, guides, transfers. There are so many tourist agencies here that they will get it taken care of for you. You can ask your hotel or your host for your Airbnb. They know a guy. Everybody knows a guy that can help you out. So do that. But I will say is if you're going to get the transfer from the airport or the train station, I would call them a day or two or three before to set up the transfer, just because sometimes it's hard to get that transfer when you arrive and then ask for it. Because then you pay the taxis from Naples, which are really high priced. Now, whether you're here in Sorrento, the Amalfi Coast, or you're going over the Isle of Capri, don't mess with the sun. Make sure you have good sunblock, have a hat, have something to cover your shoulders, because I've seen so many burnt tourists here. Because yes, you can go to some of the little beaches, and I'm going to say this, don't expect big beaches when you're here, because this is like mountains and cliffs going into the sea, and then there's small beaches when you're here, okay? But don't forget the sun protection when you go, because my goodness, I've seen some Vespa riders that are purple. Oh, it's so horrible. I feel so bad for them. But you got to be ready for that. Be safe. So I'm down here at the Grande Marina now, and I want to tell you another don't I have for you when you come to Sorrento, and that is, don't think it's just kind of excursions type of stuff. There's a lot more things you can do. You can take boat tours around Capri, you can go out fishing, you can do paddle boarding. There's a lot more to do than just, oh, look at the pretty views, okay? So don't forget about that. And when you're coming down here to the Marina Grande, don't wear bad shoes, because it is kind of a steep way to get down when you're coming down here. There's multiple ways to get here, but just know a lot of them will be kind of steep, so be ready for that. Give yourself a little extra time. And if you need to take a break, there's plenty of beautiful views and Instagram picture spots that you can take your pictures at on your way down here to the Marina Grande, so just be aware of that. Also, don't forget, there's a little beach also here at Marina Grande. I mean, it is very small, but it is something you can go and see. And of course, there's the beach over near the Marina Piccola, so you have that option as well. So that kind of wraps up our don'ts of Sorrento, but let's think about the Isle of Capri, and we'll go back to that beautiful view to talk about the don'ts of the Isle of Capri. Don't forget to look and see which ferry you should take, because the ferry could take you 20 minutes, or it could take you 2 hours. So you want to get the faster one over there so you can go enjoy your time. So once you get over there, I got to tell you this, don't wait to go and see the Blue Grotto, because when you get off the ferry, there's going to be the little boats that will take you to smaller boats to go into the Blue Grotto. Just do it and get it over with, because that's probably going to be your longest line and wait when you're here. So get on those. And what it's going to be is there's going to be like a medium-sized boat, I guess, will take you around to the Blue Grotto, and then you get off that into like a smaller like rowboat, and they row you in, you see the Blue Grotto, and they row you out. And I got to tell you this, don't expect a lot of time in the Blue Grotto, like 3, maybe 5 minutes max going in and out. It is kind of disappointing that way, especially if you went to the Grotta Esmeralda, which you get like 20 minutes inside, because it's a system. They only can get these little boats in, so we're talking like 4 to 6 people, maybe. I mean, in there to go into the grotto and then coming back, depending on the sea levels. So do be aware of that, but it is still worth doing. Now, the thing is, if you go to the Blue Grotto, you have an option of just getting off there and then walking back into Capri. And I'll tell you this, don't think that that's an easy walk from the Blue Grotto back to Isle of Capri or Capri, because it is quite the hike. I've done it before, so you might want to take the little boat back to the medium-sized boat that takes you back to Capri for the main harbor. So after you get back off the boats from the Blue Grotto, then you can go explore the towns that are there. You got Capri, which is right there, but for me, don't skip going up to Isle of Capri, because the square there is fantastic. And when you go there, you want to have the ravioli caprese, which is ravioli made with 2 different cheeses inside, the marjoram, just light, delicate sauce. Oh my God, it is so good. Like, we stayed there, just ate that. And I think we actually got it for dessert as well, because it was that good. And of course, you have all the caprese, everything. The caprese salad you can get with the mozzarella, the basil, and the tomatoes that are there. You can get the caprese torta, which is a chocolate and almond cake, so don't forget about that. So don't forget about those caprese treats when you're there, all right? But honestly, don't skip up on a Capri and eating there, because that's one of my favorite places to go. Also, when you're there, you'll see some chairlifts, right? And so don't forget that you can take the chairlift up and see some great views of the bay and of the island. So might be something to do. The kids always thought that was pretty fun doing that. And when you're looking at Capri, don't forget to get your return ticket as well when you're buying your tickets there, so you have kind of a time frame when you should be back, because if you're too late and you miss the last ferry, well, you're going to have a fun time finding a place to stay when you're over there, and don't expect it to be cheap if you do find a place, all right? So I hope these do's and don'ts help you be better prepared visiting Sorrento and the Isle of Capri. If you want to learn more, check us on our website at woltersworld.com, where we've got the eats of the Sorrento Peninsula, the don'ts of the Amalfi Coast, the don'ts of Pompeii, all to get you ready to enjoy this beautiful part of Italy. So I'll say ciao from here in Sorrento.